Okay, good morning, everybody. Hello, Samir. Welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream. We are in the Fokker F.VIIb 3M Retrofit going from Amsterdam to Brussels. I apologize for the delay this morning. Technology decided it didn't want to work on a Monday, so it took a few times to get it to go. So we will get in here, get the aircraft set up, and then we will be on our way. Flight time is a little over an hour. The drawback is going to be the automated checklist does not work, so I have to manually go through and hit every switch. Otherwise, it may not work. So anyway, let's get in here and get that going, and then we will be in the air momentarily. Hello, Amela. Welcome. And we're going to talk about the F.VIIb here in a little bit. Got some major, hello Joseph, major things coming up with the F.VIIb. So we'll talk about that once we get in the air. We got to make sure we put in our VOR frequencies. I got that all written down next to me in my notes. So, all right. Let's make sure. Well, you know what? We'll let them talk to ATC because we don't have a pushback. Battery off. All that stuff, we can just run through that because that's all off. That is correct. Doors are closed and locked. Battery on. Meters. Strobe should be right up here. There it is. Got your haircut again. It seemed like just the other week you got your haircut, Amela. Fuel valves. Make sure the fuel valves are find the fuel valves. It's on the back wall here. I thought, maybe not. Oh, open. There they are. Why is it saying that? Oh man. fuel pump. Liner. I will be with the don't have to worry about that. Engine 3 throttle. Right there. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put all the mixtures for all of them and all the props fully forward just to try to save a little bit of time. It's the wrong side even. Engine 3 starts. That's not the right one. Hold on a second. There it is. Idle. Alright, so there's our first motor started finally. And rinse and repeat. Fuel boost is on. Just gonna go ahead and put this also to out up here just so that we have that ready. All right. Fuel. Oops, no, that's the wrong one. Master. Fuel boost. We're going to skip the prime. Throttle's already open. Mixtures are rich. Props. Prop area is clear. Hit the starter. Hello, Mick. All right, take care, Bella. Thanks for stopping by. We'll be back to normal time next week once the times change and we're 5 hours ahead again on the rest of the week. We'll be at 7:30 Eastern. So, all right, afterwards. So we got all three started. Alternators both on. Check. On. Tick. Transponder on. And the radios should be on. Alright, we're just going to skip all that. So let's talk to departure and get our clearance. All right, I think we are all set to go. Now, the tricky part of this is I think you have to go, you have to push the all right, I think we are all set. Yeah, the steering on this is a bit odd, but that's all right. I think I got it under control where I know what to do and what not to do. All right, so while we're taxiing, because I think we are going to taxi for quite a bit here. That's okay. So just to let everybody know, I have been yesterday evening while Mick and Pulse were on GT Sport or GT7. I almost said GT Sport. GT7. I was doing some homework. Now, there's a route that KLM is it not wanting to go? Oh my goodness! Come on. This is very finicky. A route that went from Amsterdam all the way down to the East Indies, the Dutch Indies as they were called, back when they were under Dutch control. Going all, I mean, we're going to go through Cairo, we're going to go through Iran, Iraq, down through India. Like, it's going to, it turns out now, the trip back in the day, they could do it in 7 days. And I think it was going from the Dutch Indies back to Amsterdam. So but that's not possible for me to do in one sitting, or in 7 days of sittings, because some of the legs are like 5 hours long. Some are very short, some are fairly long. So I've broken it up. In some cases, I've had to break up the route into sections so that it's going to be a little bit easier for me to contend with, and also a little bit easier for you all to watch. So that being said, what we're gonna do that in April. Not all of it, but we're gonna start it in April. Now the thing is going to be that I am going to have to figure out which day or days to do it. I want to do it on Mondays, but there's 30 different legs to get all the way there. Some of them are going to be 3 hours, some are going to be 4 hours. I think one, I tried to break it up, but it's just not possible. About a 5-hour flight. And then some are going to be like an hour and a half or so. Some are going to be reasonable, some are going to be pretty long. So I'm going to try to plan for the longer flights. I'm going to have to plan for snacks and stuff like that, because it's a lot to sit through, and so I have to take care of myself during the flight. But yeah, we're going to replicate that route as much as possible. Now, the other thing I noticed, we can talk about this while we're taxiing, is that a lot of the airports that they used along the way, some of them no longer exist. Why does this look like there's a dip in the road here? Anybody else see that? That looks kind of odd. Maybe it just looks that way, but maybe it'll change when we get there. I don't know. It looks kind of weird. Let's see what happens when we get there. Maybe it'll kind of flatten out. Who knows? But we'll get up there. So yeah, some of them no longer exist. Some of them, the names have changed, so it was kind of difficult to figure out which airport I was supposed to be heading to, because back in the 30s it was called something different. So that is an issue. But I think I found pretty much all the places along the way, with a few exceptions. Yeah, this seems rather odd that it would dip down like that. I don't know if I don't think it does that in real life. Ooh, up. Why was it doing that? Oh my goodness. It wants to... Oh, what in the... Oh, come on, really? What? You gotta be kidding me. Wow, this thing just suddenly nose over. Oh my goodness. You gotta be kidding me. All that, and then it does this. All right, let's go to... We're just gonna have to refile. I don't believe that. It's Monday. It's Monday. It never fails. It's Monday. All right, we're just gonna get on a runway and go. I'm not gonna try to... We're gonna start right there. Leave it. Anyway, sorry about that, folks. I did not expect that. All right, let's try this again. Okay, there we go. Let's go do this. I think my conditions are still the same. Just gonna put calm winds. Yep, okay, perfect. Let's go. Yep, gotta love it. that's something that needs to be fixed, and that's something that should, because they did all like Europe, so that's not acceptable. I'm sorry, but that's just terrible. All right. Anyways, it is what it is. So let's just get in here. All right. That is all on. 2992. We don't have to worry about the altimeter readings. And I need, I got to plug in my first, hold on a second, folks. I got to get that first one in. It's 11715. All right, so as soon as we get en route, if we take off, we'll go ahead and get that going. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to open up our VFR map just so that we have an idea that we're going the right direction. Come on, map. There we go. There's our... Okay, well, and we got to go to a heading of 177. Okay. All right, let's do this. And away we go. Now the interesting thing is there's no flaps on this. So once you take off, you're okay. I gotta turn to the left coming up here. So, but we're gonna go ahead and tune this in. Let's get her. I can get the button highlight. So we are gonna go 177 course. We want to put our bug on there. Heading one. Why is it not working? What is going on here? All this stuff worked the other day. See, this is one of those weird things that it works one day and then it doesn't work the next. Oh my goodness. All right, well, we're just going to turn to the left. It's definitely Monday. Nothing wants to work today. Yeah, it is pretty cool, the classic yoke here. Now, see, there was actually, you had the pilot, co-pilot, the wireless radio operator, so they had somebody who actually operated the radios the entire time. And then then you also had like a mechanic on board that could, you know, fix the engines or whatever. There was a lot of history about the KLM airline that I didn't know while I was looking into like what was a real world route that they flew back in the 1930s. Yeah, it's really fascinating stuff. They were the first airline that actually had stewards on board. They didn't hire women at first. There was no stewardesses back in the day, as they called them. So they had, but they still had a height requirement and a weight requirement, and that applied to the stewardesses as well once they were hired. Now, some people felt that was a bit unfair, I guess, whatever, but they did that for a reason. Because they have to factor in the weight of the crew, you know, for the flights. So it wasn't, I don't think it wasn't meant to be anything you know, terrible or whatever, but you know, it's just, that was the way it was back in the day, I guess. Of course, by today's standards, it's not right. All right, so we are heading towards our first leg here. It doesn't appear, and I don't know why, so let's see if we can get this to work now. So yeah, that is not working at all. Terrific. So yeah, there's some issues here with this. For whatever reason, it just does not want to work. I think part of it is this gets in the way, and so it doesn't want to. Whoa, put the loop back on. Oh well, we'll make it. But now I know that there's an issue, and that's going to be problematic. Compass. Okay, that one works, I think, because it's following whichever way we're turning. Interesting. Oh well, we'll get there. Wonder if I have to set the other one first or something. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna do. It's gonna be a lot of stuff, though. We're gonna be traveling for quite a bit. But I think it's gonna be good. We're gonna see a lot of interesting places. Fly over some really scenic stuff. We'll try to have some really good weather the whole way. So yeah. But we'll start that sometime next month. And I was kind of inspired when the person had told me about flying the real world route for Lufthansa back in the 30s, going all the way to Athens, Greece. So So I was like, I wonder if there's a real world KLM. There is, but boy, it is a long flight. Long flight. But I'm going to do it because I think it would just be really interesting to do. But we'll do it maybe one day out of the week. We'll just keep flying a leg. Because I think maybe 2 days, but it would be either Monday and Wednesday or just maybe Monday only. Just to kind of have something to look forward to during the week. All right, so the first one is only 18 nautical miles, so we should be near there pretty soon. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and try to, once we get this thing kind of lined up a little bit better. All right. So we are still on our way, so 11640. Anything? No. We will dial in our next one here. Nothing really wants to work as intended today, I swear. It's like I can't get it to light up so I can tune it in. See, it's like, boy, this is one of those weird days, I think. 11640 is our next one. All right. Used to tell me how he worked for Junkers in his younger years, and he flew with several times, but they have nothing of him left, unfortunately. That would be interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting. Like my either great or just great grandfather on my mom's side worked for the railroads in Illinois, and but my mom doesn't have anything from that either, which would be absolutely phenomenal. But I found out about that when I went through the museum there in Union, Illinois. I took a picture of this huge locomotive. My mom said, "Yeah, your great grandfather, I think, or great grandfather worked on those locomotives." All right, so we're not hearing. I got the volume all the way up. It's not identifying, so that's not working either. Phenomenal. I wonder if there's just a hiccup in the system. Watch, when I test it later on today, it'll all work. All right, you need to. Looks like we're starting to lose some altitude here, I think, because I throttled back. Yep, there we go. Yeah. Boy, I throttled back and now it just wants to start losing altitude. Terrific. Okay, well, I'll have to test this out off stream and see if it was just a glitch today. I think there might have been. Anyway, we're on our way. This one going to GZR and BUN are our two longest portions at 27 nautical miles. So we'll get there pretty soon. Thank you all for coming in today. Sorry again about the hiccups. I was not planning on that. That, you know, first Twitch didn't want to start. I had to reboot my Xbox this morning, and then you know, now we have this issue with the runway being all goofed up. It seems like there's a wall there. And then we're, see, I just make that slight correction now that it just wants to nose over. Well, thank you, Joseph. So anyway, well, we're en route. The nav system isn't necessarily working, so I have to use the VFR map as a backup. Otherwise, without all this stuff working, we wouldn't be able to navigate. So we're supposed to be on a 165 heading here. On this, we could. Yep, that's just like locked. I don't know why. Oh well. All right. So tomorrow we'll be in the A320 going from JFK to Nashville. Should be a quick, nice little flight out of New York going down to Nashville. Wow, Schiphol approach was all the way out here. Interesting. So yeah, we'll do that Wednesday. Oh, Wednesday. Oh, do I have a surprise for you all on Wednesday? We are going to have some fun on Wednesday, I can assure you. Oh boy, we are going to, I think you're going to be really tickled pink, I guess, maybe, possibly. We're going to, I got a good idea for Wednesday. So we will get a flight in on Wednesday, and I think it's going to go really well. Knock on fake wood. So yeah. Then Thursday we will be in the Beechcraft D-17. Friday we'll be in the 737 MAX going to Salt Lake City to Seattle. That will be kind of our longish flight for the month. For the last Friday of March, and then we'll have Spitfire Saturday. Scenic Sunday we're going to Berlin. Monday we will be back in the Junkers 52, going from Brandon. We'll go from Berlin to Vienna, Austria, and then I'm going to redo the flight. Wait, no, Jetliner Tuesday Orlando to Cancun. Wednesday, Embraer going from Douglas Bisbee to El Paso. The last day of the month, Thursday, Truth or Consequences Municipal Airport to Roswell, New Mexico. We're gonna go look for the crashed UFO. So yeah, Wednesday I was looking around at what I had, and I'm like, I think we could do this, and we're going to have a blast with it. So I tinkered around with the aircraft, it works. I was able to take off and everything. So we are go for that flight on Wednesday. Tomorrow, though, tomorrow evening will be the World Update 8 Iberia. Hopefully, it's going to add a lot of points of interest. There is a new Legends aircraft, but it's basically like I think it only takes off and lands on water. So I don't know really. I don't think there's wheels on it to land and take off on a runway. You know, like take off on a runway and land on water, or take off from water and land on a runway. I don't think, but we'll find out. But anyway, so that world update is coming tomorrow evening. So hopefully some points of interest will be updated along the Iberian coast, which is the coast of Spain. And we can maybe do another flying tour there with some more points of interest included. So, yeah, good stuff. So yeah, Wednesday, I think you guys, it'll be absolutely amazing. So this is the classic KLM livery, the light blue and the dark blue, and some orange there. If we go closer, let's see, let's go out here and select our showcase. So there's the name spelled out for KLM. I think it's the first part is that first word is I think is the Dutch word for royal. I think. So this is a Royal Airways of the Netherlands. There's a whole history about the early years of the airline and all that. Really interesting stuff. I'm going to go through the clouds here. I got to get back online here a little bit. We're getting off track while I'm talking. Yeah, really interesting history. I think there was a mini-series actually, or I don't know how many episodes there are for only going to be one season, but there was on Amazon Prime through, I think, Masterpiece Theater, they had there was a series about the early years of KLM and how the guy who basically started KLM met Fokker, and they were trying to figure out how to, because they, just like Juan Tripe, knew that aviation was, that there was something there to do mail and passenger service. So the guy who started KLM was very visionary in that as well. It used to be that there was only four seats for passengers in the early days. Yeah, it would be nice. I don't know. I've not heard anybody talk about that they're working on it, but it doesn't mean that somebody isn't. They just haven't said anything yet. But maybe once they have enough, enough to show, maybe then they'll come forward and say, oh, by the way, we're working on... I gotta dial in our next one. 11060. Okay. But that would be good if it were possible. I don't. Well, quite honestly, if it was possible, I think the PC folks would get it first, and it would be probably months before the Xbox folks would see it. But I think they would if they could do it, they would get it out on the PC right away. If it's like a really good, solid version of the aircraft. But the problem with that is you have all the gauges and everything. What can you kind of basically simplify for flyers, and what is going, I guess some people are going to say, I want it to be study level. They want to hit every switch that they can. And other people are going to want the kind of ease. So if they could find a good balance between the two, that would be phenomenal. But yeah, I don't know. I've not heard anybody talk about about that yet. But it's possible somebody is working on it. It'd be nice. Concorde's coming to the PC in 9 days, I believe, or thereabouts. They're finishing up the manual for it. It's going to be hundreds of pages of information about the aircraft and the systems and whatnot, for those who like to geek out on such things. What else? Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but it's just, especially for the Xbox folks, it's taking a long time. Matter of fact, somebody was commenting the other day about the flight around Amsterdam. If you guys go back and read, he did kind of, she, whoever they are, did talk about the rules about, or the laws about regarding drug use there in Amsterdam. It's not a free-for-all, according to what this person said. It's a there are rules and regulations involved. And all right, so our next one is coming up. We will be on our next leg here, coming up in a moment. But there was questions. This person was asking me about, the Xbox side of things, and about questions about, can you buy the fly-by-wire A320 and put it on there? And I had to kind of keep reiterating that that's not possible because of the closed, as they always call it, the closed nature of the Xbox. So I think Microsoft is very reluctant to let the garden be opened too much to allow us to get more stuff, because I think they'd rather us just go through the marketplace, unfortunately. All right, so we are near that marker. I'll go ahead and pop this once we pass it. There we go. Next freak is... Oh, now it's working. Oh, look at that. Now all of a sudden everything's working. We want to go a heading of 186. Okay, that's still not working, but let's go. There we go. All right, we are... At least I can hear the beeping now. The other stuff I didn't hear at all, interestingly enough. But now we have it. So it's kind of working. All right, so then I'll dial in our last one, 11460. That'll be our final, and that'll be on our heading of 221. But yeah, it's very difficult. I basically was telling this person, I said, I think everybody wants some things in the marketplace, but our patience is being tested on a regular basis. It's not fun. Now the other thing, remember, it's kind of talking about this aircraft now that we're on our way to our next VOR. This aircraft doesn't, it's going fine. Loki or Losi? I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. So this aircraft doesn't have flaps to help us slow down. Not like the Junkers where, and I think it's because this, the way that the wings were built. They were, they're not low slung, they're up top. So I don't think they could build flaps in. So, so we won't be able to use that to really slow down. We're going to have to kind of use the, pitch the nose up a little bit to help slow down. So, well, thank you. Appreciate that, Lucy. Hope I'm pronouncing your name correct. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're on our way to Brussels here in the Fokker F.VIIb. The retrofit that's got some little more modernized navigation equipment. Some of it's working, some of it's not. But I know they're going to be, this Thursday, they're going to be really talking about the New World update, the local Legends aircraft that's coming out as well on Tuesday. That's going to be the focus, I think, this Thursday for the developers update. So if Sim World Update 8 is coming out, that means Sim Update 8 should be right around the corner, I would think. At least the beta should start soon, I would imagine, and then the actual release of it. So once they get the beta testing done. Pardon me, I need to take a swig of water here. All right, much better. When I was putting together the route to go from Amsterdam all the way to the Dutch Indies, some areas there is a way to do VOR to VOR. In other areas, it's basically you take off and you just got to go one direction for 180 nautical miles or whatever. But sometimes there are nav aids near the airport that I can tune into to help keep us on track. Although we're going to keep the little VFR map open, we're going to kind of cheat a little bit, but and that's only for a little bit of expediency of the stream. If I'm lost too much, it's not going to be fun, and then I'm going to be, it's going to get frustrating and whatnot. So we're going to use this stuff, the VOR and all this other stuff, but we're also going to have that just to kind of make sure we don't get too far off track and then we're completely lost and circling around. Not that we would run out of fuel, but just, I think it's just a better way to do it. I don't feel comfortable enough yet just flying blind, so to speak, especially because you don't know when stuff will work and when it won't. So we discovered today that the heading, this knob here does not turn at all. So that's okay. We're heading the right direction regardless. So, and we have we hear the beeping of the VOR now. So we are on our way to BUN. So the beeping that you hear, that should be like a Morse code for BUN. I'm not sure if that is actually the correct Morse code for BUN, but that's what I've been led to believe. That's the correct. That's what it's supposed to be, and that's how it. When somebody had that tuned in, That's how they knew that they were going the right direction. And they could just lock in on that and keep going. Do appreciate everybody coming by and hanging out for a little while today. So yeah, this week, 7:30 Eastern, 11:30 UK time. That will be just for this week. Once the UK is back to 5 hours ahead, we will go back to 6:30 Eastern, 11:30 UK time. Apparently the time change has flustered a couple people. They can't quite track the time change, and so they're... Anyways, let's just have a look outside here. Really nice scenery. So yeah, that'll just be for at least through Saturday, maybe even Sunday. But well, no, probably just through Saturday, because Sunday you guys changed the clocks, right, Mick? I think you guys go back an hour ahead. So we'll be back to the 5 hours. I think you said on the 27th is when you change. I'm okay. I'm going to let this kind of do its thing. I just don't want it to lose too much altitude too quick. I'm going to kind of keep an eye on that. If we start to lose a little bit of altitude now, that's okay, I think, because then we'll, well, we were, but now it wants to go back up a little bit. Okay. So that way we're at a decent level when we come around our airfield there and call in for our landing there at Brussels. We'll kind of do like what we've done with the Spitfire. We'll dial back a little bit on the on our prop RPMs to kind of help slow. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Thank you, Mick. So yeah, at least through Saturday for Spitfire Saturday, it'll be 7:30 Eastern. Sunday we'll go back to 6:30 Eastern, 11:30 UK time. So. We'll get back on that track. No pun intended. I wonder if that's the airport right there near us. It might be. Won't be flying with Captain Mars tonight. He is away with family for the Persian New Year. So we will pick up the flight in Australia on Wednesday. Really looking forward to the next leg of that. Hopefully it'll be very scenic and interesting. Ooh. Wow, we are already talking to Brussels approach. Okay. Let's go ahead and... we'll start reducing some altitude here. Try to monitor our altitude so we don't go too far, too fast. And I think I have my next 11460. Yep, perfect. I'm heading at 221. I thought 6 lights, so maybe I'm looking kind of sideways here at the chat. Well, thank you all for the 5 likes. I thought it said 6 there for a second, and then I had to turn and like, oh. Anyway, thank you all for that. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out today. I appreciate the new sub there, Losi, LFC. We try to fly 7 days a week. On the 1st and 2nd, there will not be any flights. We'll pick things back up on the 3rd of April. All right, there's BUN. Pardon me. Yeah, looking forward to Wednesday's flight there in Australia. See what interesting areas we're going to take a look at on our way to our next airport. No idea where that will be yet. Let's all know on Wednesday. So once we get past BUN there, we'll tune in for our next one. Now the next one is only 17 nautical miles, so that should be a very quick trip there. And then we're landing on runway 25 right. I think there's only two landing strips, I think. Go next one. We're going to 221. That should be BUB. That marker is right near Brussels Airport. Hello, Patrice. Well, welcome. Hello from America. That's okay. You could just sit back and relax and enjoy the flight. We are on our way to Brussels. I should say bonjour. I do know how to say that, I think. My pronunciation might be a little bit off, but welcome. Nice to have you along. If I know how to say hello in a different language, I will always try to do that, just to make people feel welcome. I think that's important. But, oh, so speaking of the flight to the Dutch Indies, as they were called, yeah, when I, kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier, a lot of the airport, a lot of the airports that they landed at are no longer full-blown airports. They are either part of it's an international airport and the rest is reserved for military, or it's just straight up a military airfield, which I thought is really interesting. That back in the 30s there wasn't a lot of military air bases along that route. but now there's just a lot. And it's just interesting that how different the world was back in the 1930s. Not saying it was perfect or anything, or without its flaws, but the fact that there wasn't this big, massive militarization of areas all over the world. It's very interesting. But so yeah, I'm looking forward to that flight. It's going to be getting all the way there. It's going to take some time, but I think it's going to be worth it. So I'm hoping it goes well. All right, so we're still losing some altitude at a fairly decent rate. Not too fast, not too slow. So once we are near the airport, we should... I'll have to fly it in manually, of course. There's no ILS system in here. Nothing to capture the ILS and take us all the way in using the tractor beam, as I like to call it. Although I shouldn't call it that, but that's what it kind of seems like. Is that an airport up ahead there? It almost looks like one, but it's hard to tell with the prop moving in front of us. It's kind of breaking up the visual. I don't see the airport yet on our VFR map. One of the other things I really need to start doing is timing my flights and timing the legs, so I kind of have an idea how long the distances, kind of get a rough idea of, like 27 nautical miles at the speed I've been flying. What's the estimated time to complete that 27 nautical miles? Because that's how they navigated. They were like, okay, we expect to go from here to here in this period of time, and then we turn, and then we reset the timer and go from there. That does look like an airport. I think that's our airport. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen it just yet. Let's see. Let's see if they are on the list. It is. There we are. So we are there. And a straight in, I like it. We're not going to turn, we're just going to go right on in. I like it. So we should get our... Why isn't it showing up? There it is. Oh, wow, look how close we were. Wow, okay. All right, let's slow down even more. We got to drop some serious altitude here. All right, we are here. Let me assume the crash position. I don't think this thing has landing lights. Oh, that's the other thing too. When they flew all the way to the Dutch Indies, they only flew during the day. They did not fly at night because they didn't have, that was forbidden in aviation rules back in the day, because they couldn't see where they were navigating. So they only flew during the day. They would stop sometimes for just fuel. Other times they would spend the night somewhere. And all that. And they tried to get people there in a reasonable amount of time to have dinner, maybe do a little bit of sightseeing before they went to sleep for the night. Usually at what was considered a very posh hotel at the time. whatever that was. All right, let's go ahead and try to get lined up here. The only drawback is going to be we have to kind of glide down, but be trying to bleed off some speed, because it says we're going too fast, but that's like we're trying to go down the glide slope here. Of course, this is going to block the view of the runway. So there's BUB, our marker that we were traveling towards. Seven knot winds, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem for us. We just passed that OB. Well, there's two OP. OB is the other one. OP, that's the NDB. I do believe that's what we're hearing. I have to learn how to. I have to make sure I know which nav aids are what. I know which usually are the VORs and all that, but sometimes I confuse the NDBs with other stuff. So either I confuse an NDB with an ADF and vice versa. Addies, have you assumed the crash position as well? Since you always think I'm going to crash? Or do you have faith in me that I'm going to land this thing the first time? Alright, I'm going to ignore the chat for just a moment until we're on the ground. So if you post something, I'll catch up to it in just a moment. Now the tricky thing is I don't know how it's going to break. I'm going to try. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't throttle back on the RPMs. I forgot about that. I got so busy talking that I forgot some of what we were going to do to help slow the plane down a little bit, but I think we're going to be okay. It's really hard to figure out how to line this thing up appropriately where I can see the runway, you know. We have to hover a little bit, we will. We're just kind of try to bleed off that speed before we touch down. Here we go. Ooh. Alright, it settles down on its own. It's not like flying the... Well, there we are. Ta-da! It's a little bit different than landing the... Well, they might have fixed this, so... Oops, maybe not. Ooh, up. Thank you, Einer. Yeah, it's just getting this thing to slow down. So I can... Oop, up. No. Oh boy, it is really touchy. Goodness gracious. All right, we'll go ahead and turn that volume off. Taxi to parking, please. We survived. Yeah, not too bad. It's a little bit, it takes a little bit getting used to, I think, for the landing and braking and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Wow, okay. Looks like we're going to have a tour of Brussels. Wow, okay. Let's go. Or follow the yellow brick road here. Or the blue brick road, I guess. So anyway, let's do our professional little announcement. On behalf of myself and the entire flight crew, we'd like to welcome you to Brussels, Belgium. Local time, I believe, is about 1 o'clock, maybe? Almost 2 o'clock. We understand and appreciate the fact that you have many options when it comes to your Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream viewing pleasures, and we are glad that you chose to fly with us today. Do join us tomorrow in the A320neo JetBlue service going from JFK to Nashville. Real world route. What kind of plane? It's the Fokker F.VIIb. It is a classic aviation plane. But it's just, that's how it is sometimes. The brakes, and part of it is just, I've not really flown this, but I was like, I really wanted to get some time in the air with it just to see how it flies. It flies really well, but the braking, it's just going to take some time to get used to on how to do everything. But I think if I had brought the RPMs down on the props, I think we would have been okay. That's the key. That's what I've learned flying the Spitfire. You have to kind of you have to pull the RPMs back, and then we would have probably landed at a little bit slower speed, and then we would have been. We were fine either way, but it's getting used. You know, like sometimes you have to let the plane settle down. Other times you have to kind of get it to settle down. You know, like you have to give it some yoke one way or the other. So it's all a learning process, but I'm glad we made it. Good stuff. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate that. So yeah, I'm gonna check later on to see why that. I'm gonna, like, once we're done, I'm gonna reboot everything and then see if it was just stuck, you know, but it works later on. So I may have had to turn that first before I turn the other one, but we'll see. If not, there's a problem that they need to be made aware of to fix some of that. They may be already working on some patches for it. Orbix, they were the ones that did this for Australia. Yeah, I like this KLM livery. It's really cool. There's a couple other ones, but I wanted to do the KLM because this was the plane. The Fokkers were the ones that kind of got KLM off the ground, so to speak. You know, so they have a big history with Fokker Aviation. And I think they have the Fokker jets fly KLM as well. So they continue that history even to this day, which I think is really good. It's amazing. Yeah, I like these. I like. I want to break it up. I don't want to just fly the A320 all the time. It gets a little, boring. Because it's fairly simple. You just take off and off you go. Hit the the autopilot, and everything just takes care of itself. We had to kind of keep an eye on things today. It wasn't always very easy. So one of the other things too, I have to push forward on the yoke, and then that releases I can steer. It's kind of weird, but that's how it's designed, I guess. Uh, Not really. No, it's not that difficult. It's just getting used to the view, knowing how to line up for the runway. That's the key. What kind of view should you expect, so that you are where you need to be for landing. No, it's a nice view actually. I like it because you can really see all three of your engines from right here. Where the Junkers, we see this engine and this engine, but you have to kind of go to a different view to see the one on the right. Oops. The starboard engine, I should say. But I like to taxi out here because then you get a kind of outside view and see some different parts of the airport. I'm not sure how legitimate it is, if it's like true to life or if it's, Ooh, uh-oh. Boy, this thing wants to go on its own again. Boy, it is finicky. Alright, we're just going to cut through here so we can get this thing parked and call it a day. But no, I like the view. But I like to show the outside as well, just so that people can kind of see the scenery and all that as well. We're just going to go right over here to our parking assignment. We kind of cut the corner here just for expediency. Fuel truck, where are you going? I think you were going to try to hit my classic plane. Come on. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. Now I got to go around. Because the steering thing on this doesn't... It's kind of hit and miss. Cool. We'll bring it back around here. Oh, just steered the... Well, maybe that's why it was acting up. Cut through these planes here. Sorry, folks. One of the Cessna executive jets there. That's good enough. We're just going to park it right here and shut it down. I'm not going to try to go all the way forward a little bit more. All right, let's turn off the battery. And that should conclude our flight. There we go. 51 minutes. Not too shabby. So there it is. So thank you all. I greatly appreciate everybody coming in, hanging out. Some good questions or comments, whatever, along the way. So I greatly appreciate that. So that's going to be it for today, folks. I will see you all tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, 11:30 UK, on our flight JetBlue service from JFK to Nashville. Enjoy the rest of your Monday if it's possible. I know most people don't like Mondays, but it's okay. And I will see you all then. Until then, peace, live long and prosper.